Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls of all ages. We were at an intermission in the trial where Lord Von Zieks is accused of having killed Gregson. Lured him to an apartment, or Gregson followed him into an apartment, a flat, and shot him to death. We've just recently found out there were 3 people who were outside the apartment when there was what sounded like a gunshot. They ran inside. Gregson was in there dead, and it just turned out that we suppose that what actually happened is that they did not hear a gunshot. They heard a firecracker, 100 firecrackers exploding at once. And that they had been wrapped around a candle so that when the candle burned down a certain amount, it would light the firecrackers, they would blow up, it would sound like a gunshot, and people would run into the room and see Lord Von Zieks there. What was the thing that we just figured out? That, Oh, there's also the watch. We found his watch, which, was broken, and it's showing, it's exactly 5 o'clock, so it's like, that's when he was shot, because that's when the watch stopped. But then we wound the watch, and it still works, so we're like, so that means that he has been dead for quite a while, because he very diligently winds his watch, and so the only way that it would run out is if he was, maybe killed yesterday, and that because he didn't wind the watch yesterday, it wound down all the way today. This is very flimsy conjecture, but we're trying. That's quite a guess. Quite a leap in logic to say, I was able to wind the watch and it started again. Therefore, he was definitely not alive at all today. Couldn't be that somebody stole his watch. Couldn't be that he left his watch in that apartment and then went back to get it. Oh, there you are, Otto. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Gina. You sure about what you're saying there? That the boss, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes. I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. Not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes. It's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation. Or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Oh dear. If it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on, Dr. Sith. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Von Zieks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. So perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuthhound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The 2 criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? Oh, that was the very last thing that we said, was that, how didn't the witnesses see Gregson going in there? It's like, oh no, they saw someone with red hair, and he was wearing a red wig, so, it's possible that, did we just say, it's possible that the red-headed guys have something to do with it? And Mr. Sholmes is sweet, I mean. That's right, Suze, and it was me what took him in. Thanks to the tip-off of a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. It's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. Oh no, did we find out that Gregson was... We... Again, giant leap of logic said, oh, well, just before he died, he was investigating the Red-Headed League, because he must have been. Why else would a red wig exist? So therefore, they must know how he died. Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't the trouble... Oh, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuthhound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Holmes. Sholmes. Yes, well... Then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zieks for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zieks, and Kazuma. I feel as though he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial, and he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Miss Usato? Yes. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Von Zieks, here present, who stands accused of suspected murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asugi. My lord. Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the 2 members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the 2 men into the courtroom. These 2 men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. Suspicion of suspected extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabien de Roussel, a descendant of... we're getting Z's. Oh! That's... How is it pronounced? Is it Nice? I know it's not nice. I'm gonna say Nice. I don't know if that's correct. A descendant of the great de Roussel family in Nice, in France. And my name is Peppino de Rossi. I'm the 3rd son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The 2 men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Zols, who graduates from Temsic Park? That's Kismet spelled backwards, which means fate. So, is this... That was by the same... Well, I don't know who makes these Phoenix Wright games. But, Thing Guy, Time Detective, was, no, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective was made by some of the same team as some of the Phoenix Wright games. So I wonder if this is an intentional tie-in. Those who graduate from Temsec are the future leaders of Europe. But do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Hello! I make it my mission to get the better of the world by improving the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I am trying to do. Oh. So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? Oui, you could say that. Not bad, eh? He has the grand ideals, but the petty plans. No, this hilarious. Ouch. This strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. See, Capo? Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Eh? Che? Are you about to tell me one of your grindy anecdotes? Viva! First, I want you to stop calling me this couple. Secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Chipalo, here, there it is, the couple's trump card at the furrow of the brow. It is deep, Capo, the furrow, and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oui. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you plan to defraud? Hello. I will explain it. No, Capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The Capo here, he was many times behind the school. I was crying like the Trevi fountain. Oh yes, those dogs! One day they will respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and weep for the injustice. C'est bien, Peppino, enough, I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League. Oui, très well. I am honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement, and from each person present this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money to France! It was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. Wait till this guy hears about NFTs. The park was... The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk like a coster's orange barrel. And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Oui, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. Si, and now, every time I see the Capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. De Rossi... Oh, it's like the same name. Kind of. You will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course. We are always ready to help with the law. You know, it's not all that smart as a defendant, as someone who has been arrested and charged with a crime. Get a lawyer. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assemble in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph, eh, Capo? No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park. Laura, this victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. Oh, well, I'll press on that. That'll be important. You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui, I'm quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came out of the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Oof! With this attitude, we're getting nowhere, huh? He's really sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed. Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Yes, my lord. What do you mean by that? Come on, you promised not to say, Akapa. After we had taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to... Dunkirk? Is that how it's spelled in French? Dunkirk. To my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day. Oops. See, but it's an easy mistake to make, huh? The 31st. Boh! I have no sympathy for you. You're an whole day late. Ooh. You're an whole day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the so-called great red-headed detective caught us. Capo. You know what I think? This is the work of a god. It's a holy punishment, eh? Peppino, for the last time, this is not holy punishment. This is only your fault. Oh, puns. Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You're making me sick with anger. Is he sick for some other reason? Do you have a bullet wound in your abdomen? Maybe not. Maybe I make a mistake, but when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. I've seen the evidence. Alright, that actually had nothing. Huh. Haven't told us much we didn't already know. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet these two both claim they didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies. Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well. Surely if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught. Well, yes. You do have a point there. It seems to me like we're going to need more information. Right. Hold it! 1,000 people. It's a very big crowd. It was quite a spectacle. Redheads come from all over the capital. See, the couple here, he has the magnetismo animale, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the couple. All those people wanted was the money, Peppino, the £4 per week. Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? That would be 5,000 pence. No, times the number of shillings in a pence. Penny. Pennies in a shilling. Oui, that we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We taken our names, we taken our money, we taken our address as well. And I tell them we'd take some days to let them know by post, finito, maybe two minutes a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late at night. So you earned 5,000 shillings in one day? That's a small fortune. And how long would it have taken? If it was 2 minutes per person, 2,000 minutes? You couldn't do that in a day. There's what, 1440? Am I making up numbers? I'm making up numbers. There's no such number as 1440. It is 1440, though. That's how many minutes are in a day. Who would have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. Hold it! He doesn't look at all familiar? No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I don't like the people that are trying to trick other people, says the con artist. If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. Oh, if they worked separately, if it was 2 minutes a person, but they got 2 people each time, then they could have done it in 1,000 minutes. And just barely squeaked in during... no, it's November? This is happening in November? It would have been too dark. Too dark inside of a dog. You can't read. Objection. Guilty. No, signore. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems. Eh, Capello, you didn't see a man like this, huh? Hold it! How did you know he's dead? We just showed you a picture of his corpse with blood all over it. But according to what you said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Yes, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally the red hair is a very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around, then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us... What? Other information? That is not the line, Peppino. Remember. We do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? There was a man with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the colors, and I do not think I could have forgotten him. When Cosmo said these two had only been shown that photograph, and they'd been told nothing else at all. What if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his fish and chips. I could feed them fish and chips. Is this a black and white? No, it is not. It's interesting that they brought up, oh, I would have remembered if I saw a guy with red hair, but his mustache didn't match the color. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. What if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and crisps? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really, I was only looking at the ads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than caviar and smoked salmon. Oh, the spaghetti, me, I love it, the spaghetti. I love it, a lasagna. And I had some. On Sunday. Really? I had no idea. Tell me again what you said before, Peppino. Say it, Capo. Say it again and again. Sure you can. Hold it! Alright, so I could go, I'll press on this, and then I'll go back and give him something else. Well, we only have your word for that. See, but what else can we do? True. Oof, I wouldn't have much of fun these days. First we're arrested and we're shown the horrible picture of a dead man, and then you question every single thing that we say. We're the victims here. Capo? No. You were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. Oh, you had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Capo? Alright, zoom zoom. And I'll give him his name. What if I told you that the man's name was Gregson? The man's photograph is a Monsieur Gregson. Yes. Names, they're boring. I did not listen to any of them. No. It was not a real interview. It was just for a show. Why would I remember the names? That's right. This changes nothing. This man's photograph was not there, as we've already said. I see. It seems there's little to be gained from pursuing this point further. Sure you can. Rewind. Unsure you can. Press again. He wouldn't have told them that he was a detective if he was the one investigating them. But what if I told you the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective? This man's a photograph, a detective. Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing. Yeah, it does.
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Check. See, I am always adding a something. Parmesan, olive oil, or pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? What did he just say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I'm an inspector from Scotland Yard. Good Good Lord! Why did he say that? Order! Order! Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man who's out at the park said he was an inspector. There was no such man. Madai, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Capo. You beat me out of many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up. Yeah, just say it. Ugh! Shut up, the damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. Please, there was a man who came to the park and said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, the face is completely different. See, it's true. And the man who came was younger. His face was a clean shave, and his eyes were sadder. His chin was a thinner. No resemblance whatsoever, then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you're really a detective, show us the proof. See, the capo here doesn't take no nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord? Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly the papers were fake. Certo, capo, you're a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes one thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced he was a detective? It became very annoying. He said, you're under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastic. Oh, look, here is the identification. So you stole it from the man? Yeah, and at the company, he was very scared. But he was not who he said he was. Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence. How, by the way, did you still have them in your pocket after being taken into police custody? But I like them. Now, let us return to the witness's testimony. Hey, Metropolitan Police Warrant Card. Is that what it's called? Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Oh, it's gonna be daily. Right? Well, I don't know what this is gonna say, but it's gonna be daily vigil. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Oh, probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. But how? Well, it matches the insignia in my book. And the department and identification number details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say? I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? So now that we've discovered that... 1,000 people. Don't recall the man. Wasn't in the park. Nothing to do with us. Your fault we got caught in the first place, and that was because of the tickets. He bought the wrong tickets. Alright, so what are some... What do we have? I could just present this picture, like... He appears to have no particularly distinctive facial features. Did he have red hair? Where would I even present it if I wanted to be like... No, it's too soon. It's too soon to say, like... Let's go look at my stuff again. Don't know why that would matter. It will, of course. He's clean shaven in that photograph, though we were somehow gonna present that. I don't know. So I said he's nothing to do with us. The warrant card doesn't... I guess there's that... Okay, yeah. When we were handed this, they just said, oh yeah, this was the guy's identification that he handed us. So if I say, no, you were handed this victim's police... Okay, that makes some sense.
Objection!
Yes. Yes, that makes sense. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade? Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves. Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. Hold it! That is the boss's, no question about it. It can't be. As I suspected, the undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real... No, I don't think so. I don't think that's true. Was the real Inspector Gregson carrying out an incognito investigation. Zitao! And then he fell. Order! Order! But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically... what are you saying? Unable to? You're not suggesting... Yes! It's quite possible he was killed before he had a chance to report his identification stolen. No! Order! The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? I know nothing. I don't know nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no? I wish I could have turned it to a die. Okay. Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, Dummy, stop your whining and start talking. Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerably greater detail. I know nothing, I don't know nothing. But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. Wah! For crying out loud. Oh my god, that's quite the admission. Are you sure I can't interest you in a lawyer? 'Cause you don't have to say this. This incriminates you instantly. What are you doing? You fool. The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shot him in the room next to ours. So might have been a tussle, but we did him no harm. And the next day, we let him go. He spent the night in a nicer room. It was nothing like a prison. This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man? But no, see, no, it was not like a prison. It was a very comfortable and calm and happy. Aye, Capo. Why is he crying? It was never a part of my plan, I swear it. Oof. So you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got a date at a ferry wrong about one little day. Do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No. Per favor, Capo. Is not fair. You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oof! I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So, on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Except we still... I don't think it's Gregson. I don't think he handed them his police papers. I think they already said he didn't have facial hair. It was obviously Daly. That being this identification book here, correct? See, that's a one. What made you believe it was a forgery? I never seen a real one, of course, but he was so suspicious as a man. Oh Lord, I was thinking it must be a falso, eh, Capo? Oui, it is just as Pipin said. We are convinced it was not Jean. And so, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. All we did was shove him inside the locked room. The only preparations to transport all the money. In for a threepence, in for a £3.
Hold it!
Two soul, you say? What do you mean by a little two soul exactly? Balls! It was nothing. Just a minor incident. Are they gonna say like they gave him a black eye or something? We'll be like, no, you didn't. He's fine. He's only dead. The falso inspector is a real piece of work. Piece of the work. Eh, Capo? What happened? Oh, it was a disaster. We give him a nice room, and what does it do, huh? Right, it tries to escape through the ventilator. Can you blame him? We chased him, black hell, and we caught him again. Can you blame us? Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you? Zot! Who do you think we are? Of course not. Simply caught hold of him again and took him back to the room. Oh my. There's spaghetti almost coming out of your mouth.
Excuse me.
Please chew. Mr. De Rossi, is something wrong? Me. Something Mr. De Rousseau just said seemed to make you, cough up spaghetti. Seemed to make you nervous, but on the surface, you look calm and ready to drop bombs. What was that all about? Cavallo, at the times I get at you, you don't want to have the capo after you, believe me. And I speak from a personal experience. Personal experience? So it doesn't happen, you know, there's no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we put the Redhead League into action, I was scared. It was not a fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. Oh, it's a shame you didn't manage it. The capo here, he came after me like a turbine, huh? And he dragged me back into the house, a kicking and a scream, and I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, capo? Bruises, you say? You wanna see, huh? You wanna see my fantastical bruises? That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you. What did you do, huh? I show you or I don't. I show you or I don't. You do. Now. Allora, if everyone wants to see, then I do. I was the same mark as, Gossip. So, okay, so I had thought for sure, oh, it's Carson Daly, whatever his name is, Daily Vigil. But, no, it was actually Gossip who was pretending to be... It's got complicated. Ecco, you see, it's still very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck, you got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the capo, sometimes he is very rough, and... Sad, that's enough! Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word.
Yes. What is your opinion, Counsel?
About this red ring around Mr. Rossi's neck, I wonder, does it matter? It's important. It's important to prosecute domestic violence where somebody was choked by the neck. Mr. De Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck. Capo, you see, everybody's interested in what I say, huh? Ugh.
Very well, you will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. De Rossi.
See, if you really want to know. Trying to escape with the collar. The collar? The dog collar? The dog collar of the Baskerville Hounds?
Hold it!
Are you saying that red mark was caused by... See, a bigger collar made from the leather. A leather collar? Is this true, Mr. De Rousseau? What? What? We had the Saint Bernard at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time. It was a very strong chain. A strong chain? And you put that around your friend's neck? I'm sorry, I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. You did not have to tie the chain to the leg of the bed at all, eh? I would not have tried to run again. You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you? Treated the people equalized. The couple here is a motto, eh? Starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden. Capo is a tough, but the capo is a rough. I shouldn't have done it. So, the following morning when you released the inspector, he had a red ring around his neck just like me. Peppino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now. I know, the couple here, you don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the inspector, it's not so bad. So does that mean I can just press... Oh, not press. Can I just present there and show the picture of Gregson? Is his neck exposed in that picture? I believe it is. Just go, he doesn't have a bruise. Oh, you can't really see the neck there. No, you kind of can. You can see enough of it. This should count. Let's hope.
Objection!
Yeah, it worked. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not something like that. It was hardly a prisoner. It was an invitation to stay. It was the omelette. Omelette du fromage. However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains.
What inconsistency is this, Counsel?
I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off of the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi.
Indeed. That is most peculiar.
What will you tell you, eh? We say this from the beginning many times. Peppino's right. The man in the photograph is someone different to the man we held captain that night.
Oh.
Oof. I think you heard that.
Order! Order!
It would appear, then, that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all. Don't object to that. If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book, issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have... You would have to be pretty bad at conceive skill 0 in order to inconceive that. The prosecution made that assertion itself. Oh, well, they're dumb then. And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely.
The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. Unless he took a lot of vitamin D, collagen supplements? I don't know what causes bruising to heal faster.
But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification?
Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel?
The whole thing it didn't defy conceive. I don't think it defies explain either. I think you're just bad at both. I think you put all your skill points into, I don't know, underwater basket weaving or something. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruhodo, because those are the facts. The facts cannot lie. No, the facts cannot lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. So we couldn't conceive, we couldn't explain, and now we can't even believe. This guy should just make a new character. He's soft-locked. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe.
Good gracious!
Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. So, why don't you help us all see whatever truth it is you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi? Though it seems incredible, I admit the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time. On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the couple dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dog or collar. Mon Dieu, Pepino, I was not so harsh as you say, oh? Who was that false inspector, eh? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. Why has this guy been crying for the past, 18 minutes? He's just crying nonstop. Is it because his tummy hurts? Because he got shot? Maybe it's because his tummy hurts.
I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witnesses encounter in the park posing as Inspector Gregson?
It was you!
Take that!
Goodness me! Isn't that... Isn't that...
One of the witnesses who was in the stand this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers-by.
Objection!
What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses! Is this the man or not? What has happened to his lip? Ah. See, this man is not for the Red Head League. He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no? Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck, a red ring of bruising. Don't kink shame. The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand.
Order! Order! Bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back to the courtroom immediately.